we generally don't, you need a balance sheet when you come to ask. Do you have profit and loss or something for Matt to see?
I don't have a budget. I mean, I can have a budget. I did not bring a budget. I mean, I'm happy to provide one to you if that is what you need, if you need a whole budget.
Well, everybody who gets money.
Okay. If you want our budget, I'm happy to send that to you. I'd be more than happy so you can take a look at what money is coming in, our business community through our partnership dues and our annual sponsorship program.
Okay.
That is where all of our funding comes from. And you guys can take a look at where that money is coming in and where it's going out, for sure.
And since you brought up the budget, last year when we set our budget for this current year, I mean, we went in, I think all of us with scaffolds, and we were gonna try to cut, and really about the only thing we cut was we decided to go paperless on our meetings. That's how tight of a budget that we're working on. A couple of years ago, we raised our membership fees, and we don't want to price people out of the membership business, because a lot of our members are new businesses. And I just had a tour yesterday, a private tour with the Kentucky historical people that are in, and they raved about our downtown. And I know you're trying to fill those empty buildings, and I think one of the stumbling blocks is, a cost to a lot of people. Casey can tell you, if someone's starting a business, we're usually one of the first people that they go to. You've got a success story for Bradley's.
Yeah. Bradley's always my favorite story. Bradley came in still wearing his Walmart vest and said, hey, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to buy the Classic Closet. What do I need to do? And we walked him through occupancy license and every step along the way. What the taxes does he need to do? What licensing does he need to do? How do I advertise this? How do I make a Facebook page? So we are that hand that holds new businesses and new entrepreneurs through the process of getting started and filling space in our beautiful downtown. And Bradley's such a good story. He had that one storefront, expanded into another, and now is in a bigger place. And not the work, he did all the work, but we were happy to hold his hand and guide him through that. So that's kind of the work that the chamber does. And I've heard this several times, that if you look around the community and you see something that's being done, but you don't know who did it, there's no name on it, that's been done by your Chamber of Commerce, whether it's the encouragement or the support on the things that go on in your community. If you can't put a name on it, it was probably the Chamber of Commerce that did that, whether through paid staff or the volunteers.
Casey and Danny, what would be your request to the commission? I think that would help them if you have a particular request.
Yeah, so the first easy one is relieving us of our rent. So that we pay currently $6,000 to you guys every year for rent of our office space. And we are asking to at least match what every other community around us does for their chamber investment, which is free office space. And then we're also asking for an additional $20,000, and that still puts us well below every other community around us, every other community our size, every other chamber investment, as you guys saw in the write-up that I gave you.
And our members use the office. You might talk about what we do with the application.
Yeah, so it's not just us. It's not just Susan and I over there wanting the beautiful office space, which it is. But we offer that, our conference room and our entire office space, as a perk to our partners. So when they need to come in for strategic planning, if they need to do an interview process, they get to use that at no cost to them. A lot of our subcommittees for the comprehensive plan update, they've been utilizing that. So it is a community resource. We're not holding it to just us. We do share that with our partnership in the community too.
Is this the first year you noticed you really were needing money?
No, no.
Why didn't you ask before?
Well, that's a really good question.
How long have you been paying rent?
I'm sorry.
How long have you been paying the rent?
2019 was the first year, I believe, that we started paying rent. Before that, the city contributed about $10,000 every year in free rent, then $8,000 and $6,000, and then between 18 and 19, I believe it was, everything completely flipped, and we started charging rent, or you guys started charging rent, and then also only paying us one membership for all city offices, which was $600. So we went from receiving $6,000 of investment to now we are losing $5,400 every year. We are paying you guys for that. But no, this isn't the first year we tried. We do like to be self-sustaining. I think that's a nice thing. But as we look at what our partners need and the things that other chambers and other communities are able to do because they have the additional support from their city and county, we want to be able to do those for our partners too, but we can't because we only have our partnership dues and our annual sponsorship. And that's wonderful. Our business community is supporting us $80,000 a year, every year, and that just continues to increase. We have new partners every year. Our annual sponsorships have gone up every year. So the business community sees the worth and value in what we do, and they continue to keep investing and reinvesting and investing more. But we don't want to lead them dark. We don't want to keep taking from the business community and still only providing a certain bit. We would like for our city and our county to invest as much as the business community is and show that, yes, we are a pro-business community. We are investing in the organization that is supporting you just like you guys are. We want everyone to be, not level the playing field, but everybody to be equal partners in what we do.
Thanks, Casey.
Casey, what does the county contribute?
$5,000 a year.
Okay.
And that includes their membership for all county offices, and then since that is extra, it's more than what their membership would be if they were just paying membership dues, and we apply that to the annual sponsorship program.
Okay.
And we've done that for you guys too. 2 years ago, Matt and I had a conversation about you guys participating in the annual sponsorship program. And Matt worked up some numbers for us that the discounted rent of the office space that we received, it was kind of an in-kind contribution. So we've been giving you guys for the last 2 years an annual sponsorship benefits, the free seats at things, the advertisement, the job postings, things like that. We've been giving you guys those benefits without the actual tangible investment, because we do value what you guys do, and we do value our partnership with you guys so much, and we're happy to continue doing that.
Get us that budget.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
We can continue, if you guys will, if you don't care to flip to tab number 7 in your budget book, we haven't done this yet, we'll go through the nonprofit requests. If you'll flip to tab 7, you've got 4 items on there. Yeah, you've got the first 4 that are paid out of the Ian Foster Fund. Children's Advocacy, Mason County Youth Center, CASA, and Camp Discovery. So I'm going to see if you had any questions on any of those, if everybody was good with those to remain as is.
I'm good with it.
You good?
I'm good with it.
Okay. Mayor? Ann, you okay?
Yeah.
David? Okay. Now then, if you'll flip to tab number 8.
Pull out the paperwork I gave you.
Oh, okay.
There's an updated one in there.
If
We
you,
had a second request,
what was that?
was the fire.
Okay, we'll add that. So that's up to 7. Okay.
So
So the one in your budget book, we had an extra request that Joseph gave you in this handout that he put in your box. That was from the Buffalo Trace Firefighters Association. So that would take it up to 77,100, and that addition is in your book. We'll come back to the chamber and their request. Everything else, does everybody have any questions on any of the other requests there?
Was there something in there from the Miracle League?
Yes, it's in there. The Miracle League is a new 501c that is looking to start up a ball field for, why don't you explain that real quick, because you're heavily involved with it.
The field is actually for special needs children. It's equipped with, like, for people in wheelchairs. It's really nice. It'd be very, very nice to have in this community. It would be a great help to many kids that have those issues.
Where is it supposed to be? Where is it going to be?
Are you still looking for a location,
I think
Darren?
we're still kind of looking for I think the boys club was kind of the original spot, but I'm not sure that's all gonna work out.
I think it's,
I'm not sure.
the last I heard, they were working with the YMCA.
YMCA.
Okay.
And it will serve not only children, but even adults with disabilities. How much was the request from the Buffalo Trace Firefighters?
5,000, yes, ma'am. Any questions on those requests?
What was Wall Park last year?
Same.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
So the changers are coming this year?
Yes, they are. Yes.
And that's not every year, that's just every so often,
Yeah,
right?
and you've got that in there, right?
Yeah,
The
the
changers.
changers. And I know people have been coming in requesting.
Yeah, that had folks coming in pulling applications left and right. And what we'll do is we'll transfer this money over to the ad district and they will handle all of that.
For the veterans,
Yes, ma'am.
$1,000.
That's for, flags.
Yeah, I
Yes,
know what
ma'am.
it's for. Is that, how long has it been like that? Does their flags go up? Do they order more flags for people
Yeah.
who die, pass away?
Right.
So-
This request just came in, I think a couple years ago was the first request. That sound right, request we got. And then if you recall, Chris Ely put in a request for this year, and I told him, I said, if this is gonna be an annual thing, I said, go on and make a request for an annual, and Eddie Brierley, who's the current commander, sent a letter in for that, for the flags. That's what
So-
that is.
It hadn't increased for.
No, it has not increased. No, it's the same amount.
Should it? I mean, for a little bit, I don't know.
Well,
People
what I
pass
told,
away and
what I
they're still
told,
veterans.
what I told them to do is get your flags not to exceed $1,000. Bring in the receipt, and then we'll reimburse you for that. So, I think if it were to go up, they would make that request.
Oh, I'm sure. Refresh my memory. Hands of Hope.
This is a new request, and you all were given a copy of that letter. What Joseph did is, it was kind of vague, but what Nicole was asking for was either some rent or utility assistance. And so what Joseph did was, she put in her letter, it was about $500 a month for utilities. So he just took that and took that out 12 months and.
Actually, I only went with about half the cost, like. I was trying to
What's it
keep
for, though?
It's to help them keep funding and keep supporting the community.
Yeah.
To cover
They're building up there on the avenue for their utilities, to help on their utility cost.
She's a 501.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
She's nonprofit.
Yes, ma'am. Correct. That's what that is.
Okay. Does she have any paperwork yet? or-
She's I mean, they're brand new. They haven't been up there 6 to 8 months, maybe
Yeah.
a year.
Less than that.
Yeah, less than a year. She's not in here, but Nicole had a situation probably about 3 weeks ago where she was condemning 2 properties, and there was a lady down there struggling for clothes, and she took her up to Hands of Hope and bought her. It was a sad story. Bought her what she needed to help her out, and so it's it's a good organization. I think Nicole's trying to. She works hard. She's trying to do her best to help those who can't help themselves, basically. Okay, and what would you like to do with you've got your request from Casey and Danny.
Do they receive anything from the city already? I wasn't sure whether we contributed office space or not. Did they pay us rent?
Yes, they pay us $6,000 a year in rent. Yeah.
And then do we pay their utilities, or do they pay their own utilities?
We take care of that, don't they? Because it's all tied into this building.
So that was part of the in-kind that she was
Correct.
talking about.
Correct. And then we pay $600 in dues. So.
Do you have a recommendation? Have you thought about this?
I think Casey has elevated the chamber from where it was 5-6 years ago, in my opinion. I know she meets with Tyler, Caitlin, and Caroline, every week, every couple weeks, you guys, every other week. They kind of have a creative team meeting on really economic development stuff all around, on what each organization can do. I think just from what I've seen, she's taken it to another level.
It seems like a ahead year to deepen it to the point where they're asking us to deepen it, to deepen the investment, so to speak. I'm not against providing a little more help for them, you know, especially what's happened lately. But I don't know that I've got the appetite for 40,000 a year, or 80,000 a year, or whatever. I mean, I'm sure all these guys, all these organizations would love to see that amount coming to them, but
Sure.
I don't know that I'm in for that much. Perhaps, you know, enough to cover rent or something like that, but.
Well, I mean, she did talk about office space and other entities in the surrounding region provide free office space. I don't know if that's something you all would entertain.
I would.
I don't have, oh, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead,
you
go ahead, Vic.
I don't have a problem with waiving the rent. And then we could go each year, and even maybe a monetary, I don't know, $20,000 right off the top of the bat here.
Yeah.
It's a bit much, I believe,
Yeah.
but,
Okay,
I mean, something.
okay.
I mean, because
I'm
they have taken it to a new.
I think she has. I think she's engaged and she works her tail off. She really does.
I would agree with you. You know, they have definitely elevated. I think that she helped with the comprehensive plan too.
Yeah.
And even though in the documents she gave us about some of the other communities, but in those communities, the chamber also does tourism and economic development in those. And, you know, we're paying folks to do that.
Sure, I understand.
So I'm
Yeah.
okay with the rent, but I think when we're trying to take care of the services that we provide to our taxpayers, that we have to concentrate on that, so.
Okay.
I'm okay with waiving the rent.
Okay, I think we've got a
I'll just
consent.
probably
Okay,
be able to look
all
at
right, so you got that. Okay, all right, good. Are you all good with all of the others in there? Are those okay?
I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, David discussed a budget, you know, would organizations submit a budget, and I don't think it'd be a bad idea for the new guys to also submit just a plan for what they want to do with the money, and
Okay.
maybe something that, you know, they could be held
Sure.
accountable to in case. just
No, I
in case.
understand. We can do that. We can do that. Once we receive those, we'll get copies to everybody. We can provide that to you.
Would that help her with the rent? I mean, just waiving the rent?
Yeah,
Would
I mean, that would
bring
be,
her-
that would basically be $6,000 in income.
Yeah,
Man, right there.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was,
And
are
we
they
pay the
in?
utilities.
Yeah, and we're taking
Yeah,
care
we're
of that.
paying
Yes,
the
ma'am.
utilities, so
Yes,
what
ma'am.
would that come to?
Oh, gosh, any
Altogether.
idea what Dave,
I mean,
if we split it out?
probably looking at $300 a month.
In utilities.
Utilities over
So, you know, you could be looking at about close to 10
Yeah, for
contribution.
this year.
Yes, ma'am.
I mean,
Yes, ma'am. For this year, yeah.
we might look at something.
Yeah, we can
different
revisit
next
it. Yes,
year, but
ma'am.
I think
Absolutely.
this would be a good start for this year.
Okay. All right. We good on all the others? Okay. All right. Well, if real quick, if you'll flip to tab number 5. The fourth bullet point down, Public Works was requesting 2 zero-turn mowers. Well, with what we had budgeted for the flood wall mowers, which was $120,000, we were able to get 2 flood wall mowers for $96,000. What I'd like to have from you all is the approval to go on and buy those 2 mowers. We have money left over from that request in this current year's budget. There's actually about $40,000 in that line item right now, is to go on and get those 2 mowers, because, to be frank with you, we need them. We need them now.
We had two break down on us, that have been there for a while. So we're down to, I think, 3 mowers at the moment. But currently all we have to mow.
So So you have the funds.
We have the funds now.
In the 24.
And obviously, it was not a capital request in this current year's budget. But if you all were good with it, we'd like to go on and utilize that difference between what we budgeted for the flood wall mowers and what we saved and go on and get 2 zero-turn mowers. And then we
need
would
a
take
motion
that.
for that.
Yeah, that would be great, yeah. That would be good, if that's okay. And that way, we would take that line item out of FY 25's budget. Anybody?
So
I'm good.
Okay, there's a motion, second, okay. Vic did.
roll call, please.
Yeah, she made the motion.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cartwell?
Yes.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's go back now to the updated form that you were given by Joseph, which shows, you know, he's crunched the numbers on all that. Currently, he's showing an $8.2 million deficit for fiscal year 25. I've given you the numbers on potential revenue, in ways to increase revenue. And just for your information, at the end of fiscal year 18, so this would have been June 30th of 18, we had an unrestricted balance of $9.5 million. Those were our carryover funds. At the end of 19, it was 10 million. At the end of 20, it was 11 million. At the end of 21, it was 13 million. At the end of 22, it was 15 million. At the end of 23, it was 16 million. Projected end of 24 is 16.2 million. We've increased our unrestricted balance by almost $7 million since fiscal year 2018. I think that's a testament to the department heads and what they do, keeping a close eye on their budget. It's a testament to our comptrollers over the past several years on what they've done. It's a testament to everybody. I mean, we weathered COVID. We actually increased our unrestricted balance during COVID. We were smart with our money. We're showing an $8.2 million deficit. That includes, obviously, as I spoke before, $3.1 million of that is a proposed water line from Washington to Mays Lick, which we will be going after Economic Development Administration money, as well as Department of Agriculture money to fund that. And if we don't get those grants, we can obviously look at KIA loans, which would be very low interest rates. Darren's crews have completed the Marshall Station project, which if there is a break like we had at the AA back in the winter, we can switch over and provide water to Mays Lick. It won't be at the pressure that they have, but they will have water. So we do have a Band-Aid. We've got booster stations going in out in Wadonia that will help out there. So, you know, if you take that out, you're looking at a deficit of 5.1. We're not going to end up at 5.1. Yes, sir.
Can you repeat what you're doing for Mays Lick?
Yes, sir. So what we currently did, Vic, is Darren's crews put in almost like a split line out on Marshall Station, the old number 11 out there in Lewisburg. So if there's a break like we had there at the corner of the AA and 11, he can turn a valve, and Mays Lick and Mount Gilead and all them would get water. It wouldn't be at the pressure they currently have, but they would still have water. They wouldn't be without water while we would be working on that break. But the proposal of that 3.1 is to run a line from Washington to Mays Lick that would tie into the large line that is out in Mays Lick, and then we've got redundancy. So if something happens on 11, we can backfeed from Washington. Did I say that correctly?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But regardless, as it is right now, we're not gonna be in the same situation with Mays Lick that we were
No,
2 years ago.
As long as the main break don't occur from Mount Gilead to the Fleming Mason line. Now, if it's back from Mount Gilead towards this way, we can reroute it from the old line off of Lewisburg and provide water to them.
That takes some of the pressure off, it seems like. That was,
Well, and I think, you know, history of kicking the can down the road, we just need, and we've had some of these, unrestricted funds, we need to quit kicking the can and address the things that need to be addressed.
So basically, let's say that we did have an $8.2 million deficit, which I can pretty much guarantee we will not. We still have 50% of our budgeted revenues in the bank, which would be $8 million. I think I told you at the last meeting, there was a conversation going around the City County Management Association about how much cities keep in reserve. Well, I kept seeing the number 17%, 20% of your budget. To me, that's too low. I don't like that. I would want us to keep it closer to 50%, so that if we did have some kind of an emergency, you know, we've got the funding there to handle that. And truth be told, these water lines and these utility, those are emergencies. That's what we should be using our money on.
Darren, some of the things you had in your budget this year were carryover from last year?
Yes.
So is this money still in your budget from?
And you've started on some of those, is that correct?
We've actually started on a few of those things.
And you want to talk about the ARPA?
And with the most recent contract we awarded for the
dry well.
The dry well, which came in way lower than we expected, we've moved some of those costs over to the additional ARPA money. So we had about $600,000 left over. So we've moved even a couple other projects tied into Maysville. We moved the Maysville tank, the rest of the booster upgrade project to that. We've moved and we've budgeted additional, some of his stuff that he had requested underneath the ARPA to get those off. So we've reduced some of his stuff. The problem is some of those other projects that he had from last year probably won't get completed this year. So that's why we need to have them in the okay for next year's budget. Even though they were in last year's budget, we won't be able to charge the money to last year. We'll reuse the current money, but we just need to have a budget line in the line item that's okay to do it. So even though it's carryover, it's taken some time to get to some of this stuff. And as I've recently learned, there's a couple things like part of the issue with the Maysville tank is that the idea that it couldn't be done until another project got done, and that got delayed. So just things being delayed, and therefore it's going to carry over into next year's budget items to be able to complete and get done.
I just remember discussing that if you didn't use it in that budget year, we would sort of lose it. Do you remember talking? I do. You said it. You're the one who said it. So that's why I'm questioning it.
I think it was December, isn't it?
Well, I think I originally understood ARPA was coming up this December, but really, project's got to be completed.
Oh, on the
And-
ARPA funds, yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And I can remember that the reason being that the cost doubles from one year to the next, and that's why we talked about that.
One,
That if, to spend that money in that budget year in order to defray a higher cost in the next year.
but even
Make
to
it
that
clear.
point, the idea was to do some of these projects, but like the one I just gave you an example of, we bid out the whole project, but it couldn't be started.
Yeah.
And we potentially have that vendor now saying that it can't be done for that cost.
Yeah.
But that's not that we didn't try to get it done, it's just
Oh,
the other project has taken longer to get going
Yeah.
and finished,
I
and he
understand.
can't start
I
it,
just-
so. It's,
And I'd like to give a little credit. Part of that carryover of the unrestricted funds came from grants that we applied for and got and then didn't need. A perfect example is the riverfront development. We budgeted, I think my first budget here, $700,000 for that, which we did not have to use. So kudos to Matt and David and all of those that contributed to helping us save some taxpayer dollars with the grants that you all work toward and achieve.
Do we have any grants out there now that we've applied for and we hadn't heard from on anything?
The only one I can think of, Ann, is the tree inventory grant. We haven't heard, we should be hearing on that one soon. That's the only one can you think of any others that we have out there? I know Chief was telling me this morning that 911 services grant, you're feeling good about it?
Looks like we're gonna get that.
Yeah.
I'll know more next week.
Yeah. Those are the only ones I believe we have out there now. And that was, how much was that?
That was the one, now Homeland Security will.
No, how much was the 911, do you know?
It's a little over 25,000.
Yeah, and the tree service inventory is about 50, was a $50,000, and it's full if we get it.
I should know something on that hopefully next week.
Yeah. Okay. We've got in there is also the market rate adjustment for employees. That's included in there, 9.5%.
And it also includes the revenues increased by.
Yeah.
I went ahead and bumped up to the occupational license to
Well,
$100.
I think the occupational license, yes.
That's
Not
only what I
the payroll tax, but the occupational license
It was
from-
bumped up
from 75
$75
to 100,
to 100.
right. And
So
then
what's the projected increase on that?
$245,000, is that right? That number right there?
Yes.
245, and then I should be getting the property tax numbers hopefully this week. And then I'll sit down with Joseph and start crunching those numbers on what the compensating rate is versus the 4% increase. And I'll be able to provide you more information on that.
So that would be an addition. to
Yes,
the
ma'am.
funds.
Yeah, but I won't know those until I can run those numbers.
245, yeah.
So your raise, basic tax is gonna be, is the low end, what's the low end gonna be now? 100?
Yes, 100. Minimum would be 100. Yes, correct. And that's the vast majority of small businesses that come in, would be 100. Do you all have any questions? I would, our next meeting is scheduled for June 17th, which is a special meeting to replace our regular meeting. And I need to sit down with Joseph and start running numbers on, putting an ordinance together, a budget ordinance together. So we can because we'll need to have 2 readings way prior to the end of June 30th, because we got to get it advertised.
So when do you think you'd have that property tax?
I should have, Troy has told me he's submitted everything. He's just waiting on Department of Revenue to send him the final numbers. And then once he gets that, he'll send them over to me, because we'll have to have 2 readings on that late July, early August to get that put into place. I'm just waiting on him from him. I've been in contact with him.
So you think you'd have the property taxes this week?
Possibly, yeah. Yeah. Hold on, I'll tell you. Troy. He said his inspection period was over on May 16th. He had 6 days after that to turn in his final recap, and as soon as Department of Revenue approves that, I will get you your paperwork. So that was middle of May. So it should be anytime soon.
Do you think a big increase on that?
Well, no. I mean, 4%, I think I ran the numbers, we're at 0.158 right now. You do the 4%, it would take several years to get up to the state average, which is 0.22.
How much do we usually take in a year on property tax?
That's about, you got it right there. What is it?
About $1
Million, right around $1 million. I mean, you take the 4%, you're probably looking at an extra maybe $50,000, but it compounds. You got to keep taking it in order for it to truly make a
What I'm
difference.
looking at is in many cases, insurance is double. on property owners.
Okay.
And then state tax is going up.
But I mean, we're lagging on our,
Yeah.
on our property tax rate. I mean, again, that .22 is, that's the state, that's the average for cities, cities across the state, that's the average. It's .22, and I think I just ran that number on last year's numbers that we took in, and it'd be, I think it was around an extra $300,000 a year if we were at that .22.
Anything else on the budget?
Does anybody have any questions on, I mean, are we good to go to put an ordinance together? Because if we are, I'll have the first reading for you on June 17th at our special meeting at 4, remember, that one's at 4 o'clock.
I am.
I'm just,
Yes.
and this is no reflection, I hope you guys come to the June 17th meeting. I'd like to see you all come to a meeting the second Thursday of every month. You're more than welcome to come. And what I have to say is not a reflection on what I think of you. I really appreciate you all for what you've done, but I'm good with anywhere from 3 to 5%, but that's just me. I mean, you know, just got a lot of people I answer to, and then I'm having trouble where we're going to increase. Now, this is just me. I'm not speaking on behalf of anyone else. We're going to increase occupational license, and I know it's only $25, but it's the point and the image that we're projecting that we're going to increase this and then property taxes and then turn around and give a flat rate 9.5% across the board. I also want to let you know that I don't have a problem with a sliding scale. The ones at the bottom should be brought up, but that I don't know if that's even a go here either. The ones making say less than $20 an hour, 9.5%, and then the more you go, the less you make, the lower you go, and the higher up gets anywhere from 3 to 5. But that's just my opinion, and I'll let it go at that. It's not that I don't appreciate you. It's not that I'm not thrilled to death that you're with us, but I just feel that I just feel that way. So I hope you understand.
Is there any documentation as to what inflation has been versus what employee raises have been over the last, say, 4 years?
Well, I mean, from just remember looking at the CPI index, if the CPI, I mean, I don't know what the raises have been exactly, but I mean, this coming up here is 3.4% CPI, but the previous years were 7 and 6 point something. And the year before that, I'd have to go look, but I know that, so I mean, if you're just looking at CPI increases, I don't know if we've only been getting 3 to 5% and it was 6 and 7%, well, then we're already behind the 8 ball in that compound, so
Yeah, and I just didn't know if we had kept track of that or not. You know, when COVID hit, we were kind of batten down the hatches. We were waiting for the financial storm, waiting for revenues to collapse. Everybody here suffered for that. The raises were not what they should have been. But again, we were getting ready for the apocalypse, and then money started showing up. You know,
Right.
and so.
Well, I think it goes back to, you know, we have all these projects that we've got to do. Whether it's projects that we contract out or projects that Darren's crew or Luke's crew is performing. You gotta have the equipment to be able to do the projects. And you have to have qualified individuals to do the projects. If you don't have the equipment or the qualified individuals, you don't do the projects. I mean, it's simple. And, you know, we haven't raised our rates in years. I mean, again, the payroll tax has gone up 0.04 percentage points since 1991 or whatever it was. 88. We've taken the 4% on the property tax once in 24 years since I've been here. I don't know what happened before that. One time. The cost of materials are going up.
Where would this put us in, you know, if this raise goes through, where would this put us in terms of where we should be, where the employees should be? Like, did you say
Well,
last time that there was a,
Well, I was going, as I was going through the last time, and again, this is data. These are facts from the League of Cities, data that they use. I think I mentioned, the chief and the assistant chief of two of our public safety departments were bumped up a few weeks ago. They're still not at 25% of the wages for former third-class cities.
Do
I mean-
they have a study, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine, honey.
Do they have a study of what, of course, we used to be third class.
Right.
Do they have a study of what the wages are for cities our size, that in comparison to what each city pays of where we're at on that?
Well, again, all I can go from is that what they did, Ann, is they broke it, even though we're not a third-class city anymore, they break down the salary survey.
Population?
Yeah, by what the former class cities
Do
were.
do you have that study?
Yeah, that's what I'm,
Okay, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yes, ma'am. That's what I'm referring to. That's the data I'm referring to. As I mentioned, my good friend, Chief Palmer, is still not even at the 25%.
We get a copy of those, man.
Yeah, sure you can. We're still trying to hire an assistant utility manager. We have a guy who's still interested and wants to come here, and I think is gonna make a visit to Maysville. But the lowest the lowest he can go is $80,000.
Yeah.
Darren, I'm not throwing him under, he's not making $80,000. How are you gonna pay an assistant more than your director? That's not right. We're behind.
I think the bottom line here is that taxpayers pay us for the services that the city provides to them. And we shouldn't, you've been fiscally responsible, and so we have this carryover. But we should be spending that money and providing the best possible service that we can. And I don't think the adjustment is out of line. I think the data that he's showing us shows that. And I think we owe it to our citizens. When you think about the role that the people play that work for the city and the safety issues, they talk about police and fire being the safety, but also when you think about drinking water and how important that is, and if the toilet doesn't flush, there is, and when you talk about the forever chemicals and the PFAS, and that all we have to address, you've got to have quality people to take care of those. And that's what we need to do.
Stand up. Yes. That man right there, and Robbie Bingaman. Is Robbie in here? Okay. They saved our former fire chief's life. They saved his life. The doctors said he should not be alive when they got to the hospital. I got to see Kevin on Friday, and it killed me to see. But I got to see him because of them, because of those guys. We have the best in all departments. Everybody that's in here, they are the best, and we got to keep them. It's killing me right now. He saved his life. I want him coming to my house if there's a problem. It's that simple. We've got to keep these individuals. We're losing them. We just lost a carpenter in his department because he's going out on his own. Good for him. He was a good employee, very skilled. These folks deserve it. Everyone in here does. We've got to get up. We've got to get these wages up to where we're not below the 25%. You've got to have quality people to perform the work here in this great city. Because we are the best. We all know that. Thank you, Max.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody in here too. And I've agreed sort of with Victor, but also we were just hit with this at the last meeting, at our regular meeting. I would like to see exactly what our deficit is, exactly, if you can. Well, not today, I wanna look at it. I get it,
You guys were given that a week or so ago.
I did.
It's
But I
right-
think, we could meet again this week, right? Cause I wanna look over salaries.
when are you-
Who's making what, and I pulled salary scales.
Uh-huh.
And who needs to be pulled up, really, a lot. So,
Okay, why,
I'm not saying I'm
Yeah.
opposed to
no, I
anything,
understand.
but I wanna see all my options.
And, yeah, and you all make the final
That's
decision.
it,
I'm
I'm
just,
not saying yes or no,
Right.
I'm just telling you, I think we need to see all of our options, whether it's 3 to 5% or higher, or a sliding scale, I like to see that.
okay, and with all due respect to Commissioner McKay, with the sliding scale, again, there are those who are our department heads or maybe assistants who are not where they should be. And I'm not taking anything away from what he said, I understand that, but, you know, it's the bottom to the top. We're not there. We're not there. And I recall, maybe 3 or 4 years ago when we made an adjustment, and our former comptroller said, it's a start. It's a start. It wasn't the end, it was a start. I
But
remember
now you-
those words.
Refresh my memory, we gave some people 13% raises then.
I don't think so,
and then
David.
The next year, 8.
May have been,
Yeah.
it may have, and we moved the bottom up to $14 or $15 an hour. We've got fast food restaurants paying that,
And it's below the poverty level.
yeah.
So why was it not done way a long time ago? I'm just gonna ask you,
I can't answer
We
that,
didn't.
I don't know.
is this
I
the
don't know.
first time we've ever had a deficit other than?
No, we had a projected deficit last year.
Yeah, I know, but before.
Yeah.
that- before
No,
that-
we've had,
The year before,
yeah, we've had projected deficits.
You read it off last time.
yeah.
We've had
w-
projected deficits
Projected,
ever
but
since
we-
2013.
Yeah,
We've
and-
never come in.
But we never,
We've not hit them either.
yeah, we're not gonna hit them. We're not gonna hit 8.2. I mean, I can promise you
God,
that.
I just want to
Yeah,
reiterate.
yeah,
this,
sure,
or
sure.
We could sit here all day.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could, sure. Yeah, this is
It's not
a,
that, it's
Yeah.
not the percentile. I'm just having trouble. All right, we're gonna give 9.5, which I still think is sliding scale should go, but I understand. But then we're gonna raise taxes, and then we're sitting on $16 million in the bank. That's where I'm having trouble, and that's where a lot of people that have come up to me and, what are you gonna raise my taxes for when you're sitting on that kind of money? No one said anything about we're giving raises.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to clarify that.
sure,
And
sure.
I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, go ahead.
Well, what I would like to say though is to that is, I mean, I'm a budget guy and I don't like the negative budgets at all, but at the same time, there are things that gotta be done. Spence and stuff's coming to me all the time, there's this, there's that. What I tell the citizens, sorry, you're down water today, cause we gotta get a part in that's gotta be special ordered. I mean, we're trying to prevent those things. We're pushing off on escaping through with not fixing the roof that could lead to bigger damages down the road. At some point in time, something does gotta give, and we gotta do something with what we have. I would sit there and say, why do we have so much of the money? Well, we chose to skate by with the bare minimum for years and not invest that money that we've gained. And now we're in a situation where we almost are forced to do it. And with that being said, a project we could have done last year and got the whole tank and the line and everything now has doubled. So when you're talking about this, let's take out the salaries. It was still a $7 million deficit on all the things that we need to get done. But we keep losing employees left and right, and skilled ones in different areas, or can't get. So that being said, like, I did an increase. Basically to your point, salary offset with the tax increase. But we haven't increased that number is on the low side. Citizens also want the services that we provide. How can we continue to provide those services if we don't have the skilled workforce to do it, or the funds to try to make sure those tasks stay on board? When these 2 buildings that we're gonna try to skate by without a roof, because we took it out of the budget. So if something worse goes on, we're gonna patch it. We're gonna try to continue to patch it. But when it's to a point that we gotta do something, we're gonna have to do something. I came from the city
But
of
those
Arizona.
items were budgeted. So for the fact, hear me out, the fact that there's a leak that may lead to more damage, that's not on the commission and that's not on the taxpayers. That's on management. Fix the thing if the money's in the budget.
No, we took it out of the budget to try to cut, and we haven't requested this, but we wanted to put it in there this year, and we've cut it back out.
Oh, we
Because
got
we're gonna
to put
try to
back in,
patch
David.
on it.
Is that one of yours, David? You need to put that back in if it's gonna cause more damage.
I'm just saying there's potential that it's, you can only continue to fix so far.
Wasn't that in last year, the
I did part of it.
yeah.
And, you know, Matt,
We took
I,
that last part of it out last year.
I'd like to see some forecasting. I mean, God forbid, you and the economic development director getting together, what would happen if we lost a major industry here?
I mean,
That's-
that's something you can't, yeah, you could forecast it, but who knows? But I mean, it goes back to, we've done our due diligence over the years. I mean, we've gone from 9.5 million in the bank to 16.2 million. You know, we've done our
We do have
job.
to look at the future.
I understand that, and it's not that we don't, but that's why we have that money in there, to weather that storm. But at some point, we need to spend some of that money. We've sat on it way too long. We need to spend some of that money.
I couldn't agree with
That
you more.
emphasis.
Yeah, I mean, we do.
Matt,
Yes,
there was a
ma'am.
gentleman back there raised his hand, you didn't see him.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Kelly?
I just want to remind you guys too, that there's been years that, I mean, I look around and see the faces of people that, there's been years we never even got a raise. And yet, here we are, we're still here.
2010 to 2013.
We didn't get a raise. I look around, I see all kinds of people here that didn't get a raise, but yet we're still here working for your city.
Yeah.
Working for our city. I mean.
Well, and we
can't
had
do
a
that
reserve to
anymore,
spend. That's the only reason we stay in business.
though. Things have gone up so high though, guys can't do that anymore. We can't not be raised up to where we can afford to live. There was a time when we could do that. We did suffer through with the city and didn't even get a raise. Guys can't do that anymore. They'll go somewhere else. I mean, but we don't want to.
Yeah, I agree. I appreciate
Nobody
that.
wants to go anywhere else, but they have to.
When I came back here in January of 2013, we worked on that budget, and that was the first time in 4 years that you all had to see one. And you've been, everyone's received them since then. Not up to 9 or 10 or 8 or 7, but I get it, and I'm sympathetic. But and I'm willing to bend. I'm willing to compromise. I really am. I just have a hard time swallowing
Right.
passing taxes, raising it on other people. And when this is going to be in the paper that we're sitting on $6.24 million, that's all. I wish we could give you more. I mean, why is it 9.5%?
Well, and if we're putting it in the budget to spend that $8 million, then we're not sitting on it anymore. We're using it for what it needs to be used for.
They have to go, the 9.5 was because, there are obviously some employees who are within the 5 years of retirement range.
Right.
And that's spiking, but yeah, that's why I capped it at that, is because I didn't want to see somebody get a spiking who was gonna retire, and that hurt them in the long run.
There's a,
Yes. Nathan?
My name's Nathan Carrington. I've been with the Public Works Department for 20 years. Crew leader on the construction. I got 3 jobs just to try to make it. I don't live above my means by any means at all. I work here, I get off work, and I work till 9, 10 o'clock at night, doing more concrete work. I shouldn't have to have multiple jobs to make a living. I've got a family too,
how long you been here, Nathan?
20 years.
Thank you.
That's my 2 cents, and thank you.
Anybody else?
I'll say something. Since the past 6 years, we've had 16 people leave the Maysville Fire Department. 10 of those live within 20 minutes of the fire department. Of them 10, 6 of them lived within 5 minutes of the fire department. And of all those people, if they would have stayed, they would have over 10 years' experience. But they left. They couldn't afford to work here. They went to Northern Kentucky, they went to Ohio. So now, we're promoting people. How many years have you been here, Jonathan?
I've been here 7.5.
7.5 years. That's experience we needed. You know, Jonathan does a great job, he deserves to be there, but we've lost a lot of experience, a lot of investments. Invest into your employees or we're gonna invest into the water system, so we don't break. So, he can do what he did. So the rest of us, if you're having a heart attack or have a medical emergency, would you rather have the brand new paramedic or one that's been here 10 years? That's experience. Same with the police, the water company, public works. When there's a problem to fix it, I want experience, not the cheapest. Just remember that. You're not just giving us raises, you're paying an investment for experience. You're getting what we know, you're paying for what we know. So let's invest into the people like we do with everything else.
Just to kind of piggyback on what Chief Barber said, I've been here 8 years. I'm born and raised here in Maysville, and, you know, everybody's talking about the money, I get that. But I've responded to my mother and father, and they both died on me. So it's not just the money, you've got somebody that cares, that sees everybody as a family member. So it's more of a compassion thing, so we may be able to be replaced, but you want somebody that cares about money or somebody that's local, that, you know, has more of a compassion issue. So that's just my view.
I talked to each of you last budget meeting, and, you know, just a rough estimate for the police department, I know the fire department's the same way.
Chief, can you
Yes,
speak
ma'am.
up just
I
a
said,
little?
I spoke with everybody last time and kind of told you about, you know, the investment we make in our employees. I mean, when we hire an officer, it might be a while before you get them through the academy, and that's an investment. It's probably about a $40,000-$50,000 investment for training and gear and output like that. And to me, losing officers is throwing away $40,000-$50,000 a year that we could be going somewhere else. We have, within the city, both public works, water company, everywhere, we have qualified local employees that we want to keep. You know, we can't lower our standards for public works or the police department or the fire department just to fill a warm body, just to stick somebody in a hole to do a job. You know, we have dispatchers that are keeping people alive until the fire department gets there. We have firefighters that are doing their job. I had guys on William Street last night because somebody wanted to come outside and shoot guns in there. She's in the jailhouse right now. We assisted with the sheriff's department on 2 fatalities out in the county last night. We have to keep and maintain and invest in our people. And I'm no economist. As far as that Baranium, it was my Eco 101 instructor at UK back in 1986. But if inflation goes up, taxes have got to come up a little bit too to help that fight. It has to happen. And if we haven't raised taxes since '88, that's a lag. That's a lag somewhere. We're not doing our due diligence to the city. Yeah, we're saving money and we're saving, what, $16 million in reserve? But something's got to give somewhere. I mean, inflation goes up every year.
Well, and the amount of taxes we're talking about is not nearly proportionate to losing those folks and that investment that we put in them, which
Yes, ma'am.
in the end costs that taxpayer more.
And I know, I'm sure Kyle does, and I'm sure Luke and everybody, you know, we are searching for grants every day and trying to get grants every single day to supplement on some of this stuff. So we're not. And, you know, I can tell you, and you've heard me speak before, so since when I was assistant chief and I took over the budget, I was fiscally responsible with that police department. And I assure you that Chris Conley is fiscally responsible with that police department as it is now. And you know, we've been at 26 officers since way before I started. Crime has changed in the past 30 years. And I know it's been 30 years, they probably still had 26 officers.
we're doing the same amount of crime prevention and stuff with the same amount of officers as 20+ years ago. It's gonna catch up to us one of these days, and we're not gonna have enough people.
My name's Greg Best, Blood Bowl leader. I'm gonna kind of comment on what Palmer said there. 20 years I've been here. 20 years ago, Public Works had over 50 employees. What are we down to now, Luke? 13 employees. You've lost that many. We haven't slacked up on none of the work. If anything, we've gained on the work. Because you've got the employees that can go out there and get it done. But you're losing them on account of the money's not here. So we've got below half of the employees that done the same work. So something needs to give here.
Nathan?
That's pretty much what I was gonna be saying, the same thing too. And I mean, I'm not the only one that has multiple jobs either, you know, when I get off work and stuff like that. I mean, if you guys think about it and stuff too, with what we do, I do a lot of concrete in this town. I've saved thousands upon thousands of dollars on concrete work here. Cause we can do it. It's not just me, Greg, any of the guys will hop in when needed. But we're really getting pulled thin now. But there ain't any of us here for any department that we should just have one job. I guarantee there's none of us here that live above our means.
Luke, how many men are we down in the street department? How many employees, not men, employees?
So we need to hire 3 people.
So,
That's
why are they quitting then? Why are they quitting?
I had one last week leave. I had 2 last week leave. One to start their own business, making more money. The other one went to the same, it was Pepsi, making $3 or $4 more on the hour. And that was an entry level position, so. I'm projecting.
Had they been there? Had they been with the city?
One 6 years plus, the other one almost 2 years. There are several others that have left for money as well. A couple dollars more on the hour does a pretty good amount with someone. And it's local. It's local. It's other local businesses that are going to, within the city limits. So, you know, with Greg and Nathan, what they were saying, it is hard to replace the guys that have been here that long, 6+ years with the experience they have, and the budget or price range that I'm, you know, offering to those people to come in, and I just can't get that skill anymore. So it's really hard to replace those guys. Makes it a lot harder for myself and the crew leaders to get things done. You know, the flood walls probably not mentioned a whole lot, but it's very important, you know, keeping that up and making sure everything works properly. Just things like that are very important, and losing those guys, you know, I can't replace, no matter how much money.
And we've been talking about grants too, and that's something I just wanted to bring to light. Since 2019, that's just on the ones that I've dealt with. It looks like in grant money, we've received a total of $12,176,429. We've spent $13,082,456, which we were about $1 million of that is the cities, but a lot of that, the guys, Public Works, everybody has, a lot of that's in-kind work, you know, that was done, working on different projects. A lot of it, some of it's contracted out, but you know, in 5 years, I mean, that's a lot of money saved. It's helped the city. Sidewalks, public improvements.
Any other comments or questions?
I'll add one more thing. I'd like to give math and some, some substance. We're a lot of passion here, but it all goes back to the numbers. And, with our clock-in system with the fire department, whenever somebody works an overtime shift or filling a shift that is short, we clock into a different code. So I can look up how many extra overtime shifts that we have to fill per month if we need to. So I went back to the past 3 years, how many times somebody had to work because we were short shift. And we were averaging, per month, 406.4 hours this year alone, which is 24-hour shifts. Remember, they work 24-hour shifts. That's 16 extra 24-hour shifts this year. The year before that, 18 extra 24-hour shifts. The year before that, 20.11 extra overtime shifts. And so I went back as far as would let me go when we weren't losing employees, which would have been 18 and 19 was as far back as I could go. We were only doing 3 extra overtime shifts a month. We're paying time and a half for somebody to fill that shift when it should be just straight pay. And I think a little bit of money you're gonna save there, and the investment, like Palmer said, we're $5,000 into just a set of turnout gear, not including the training and investments from there. So if we can feel it where we're not having to pay out all that overtime, and also going in the private section, talk about a new employee every month, seems like anymore, I think that investment's gonna pay for itself in the long run. So, not that it's gonna make up a lot of money, but that's a little bit there, that time and a half we're paying out for employees to cover them short shifts, and the wear and tear on their bodies, working these 48-hour shifts. So if we can get back to full staff and not having all this overtime, I think it's gonna benefit the fire department, now I'm gonna say the police and everybody else too, so. That's my last.
Somebody else back there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm new, I've worked on 5 years, I started here out with Public Works, I was a CDL driver, for Packer and aggravator equipment. Well, I transferred to the sewer company almost 3 years ago now, because they need a CDL driver there, because they had 2 employees retiring. So, that's all my position was. Well, since then, I've learned to do plant work, street work, construction work, just different things. Have I been compensated? No, but I'm still here. Last year we had a tax increase, 1% on all of us. When I started there, we had Pete Woodruff, as you all know, had an accident a little over a year ago now, almost 2 years. We were still short-handed, it's me and him and Kelly, and Randy at that time. But now it's just me and Kelly and Randy. So they was gonna replace Pete, or said they would, but they was gonna replace another employee with him when he was still here before he had his accident. So now we're 2 guys short, so most of the time it's 2 of us or 3 of us to work the streets, fix the sewer lines, work the plants, help, I come in the other night, double shift of work. That's a lot on me, and when I'm not pressing in the press room, I'm either in the street, backing for the water company, there's just not enough of us going around. And to
What's
keep
your
what you
name?
got,
What's
you
your
gotta
name? What's your name? I'm sorry.
Wayne Ruark. So, we keep what you got. Experience, it's already been said here today, is a whole lot. If you bring somebody off the street that don't know anything, you have to train that person. That takes more time away from you when you could be working somewhere else to do another thing. Sewer's not a pleasant thing to work in, especially for what I'm in, and the experience that I have now. But I'm here because I'm home every night, I can see my family. I left, I used to travel, and it's no good. But, it's starting to look good again if something don't happen. That's something I like to want to do, because I like it here, I like the environment, I like the people that I work with, good to work with, we all get along. So, us employees surely have something,
wanna add to that too, you know, they have a very nasty job. And I've been here over 28 years, and I don't know how many times I've been called in the middle of birthday parties, Christmas, Thanksgiving. I've even had kids wrapped around my leg crying, "Daddy, don't leave." I've done a lot, I've sacrificed quite a bit for this town. That's because I love it. But our job, like for the water company, our job, when you have a main break, you cut off the least amount of people as you can and get it done as fast as you can. Now, do you want somebody jumping in the hole to fix a main break that's been here 6 months or 10 years? Who's gonna fix it quicker?
You only get new employees. I mean, that's what the department and its challenge is now, is, it's like what Wayne was saying, we don't have anybody, you know, we don't have the help, because it's hard to get, in this time, you know, times have changed, of course. It's hard to get new guys to come in for the offer, you know, the pay we offer, to even get us help initially, let alone, you know, get where we need.
And then it's some of the pay that they're coming in at now, just right under what the guys are making that's been here 20-some years. Who's gonna come out in the cold at 2 o'clock in the morning and work on a main break, get in the mud, and be able to work at McDonald's and stay warm and dry?
Yes, sir.
I heard mention of like a sliding scale sort of thing. I don't really think that's cool. I think the supervisors and management do a lot of work, and they make a lot more than us. Granted, we're just regular town employees, but I don't feel like they should be cut any less, because they make more. You know what I mean? We're way below the, state average. I've looked it up, I've done my own research, we're way below. It's way mid. My name's Taylor, by the way, Taylor Stanfield, hello.
Thank you.
And I think something you all need to remember too is, you know, granted, we have had pay raises in the past, but, you know, last year, you know, the county didn't have a problem taxing our paychecks to make them more money. And insurance goes up every year. You know, when I first started here, it was maybe $120 a check, something like that. It's what, 200 and something now for a family? So,
$409 a month.
yeah. So granted, we appreciate what we got in the past, but at the same time, you know, now we're getting taxed on our paychecks, more money coming out, and plus insurance keeps on going up every year. So, you know, yes, we're getting a pay raise, but we're also offsetting the taxes and the insurance coming out as they're going up also.
And I think, Rhonda, isn't our retirement, we're gonna have some savings there that we could then use toward this pay?
Well, that's kind of built in, I mean, to be honest, that's kind of built into the overall numbers right now.
Yeah.
So Rhonda, working with Matt, they've showed those numbers, and so I've kind of accounted for what that retirement pay looks like compared to the actual 9% increase. So that's kind of built into there, so it's kind of already offset in there.
Okay.
But yes, there was savings in that. But even that, I mean, let's just speak on that. For people that have been here, which is way few people, that are getting that tier 1 retirement, retirement's not a selling point to bring a person here to work. It just, it's crap from what I've understood. And I fall in that category. Now, I'm in a different situation than some, but if you got someone that, and again, as I've understood, the younger generation doesn't care about retirement, but still, at the end of the day, someday they will look at it and hopefully be thankful, but you can't sell the employees that we got a great pension plan anymore, like you used to be able to. You used to be able to offset what they made as they're gonna benefit in the long run. I'm not gonna benefit in the long run when I work my 20 years here. I might not even be able to afford to retire in 20 years with the pension plan.
Well, how can there be savings when we're all on CERS?
Have you looked at
No,
the
but
tier
you-
systems?
But I'm a
All
tier
jokes
1,
aside?
yeah. I'm a tier 3 employee. My pay rate that the city or how it works with the state is way lower than a tier 1 or tier 2 employee.
That's right, they were adjusted, yeah.
And therefore, what I'm getting at though is the savings is, because we've had so much turnover in here, in this room, that, yeah, we've got 20-year employees here and there.
Mhm.
But I think Ramonda said we're about 50% turnover or something like that. And so we've got a lot of tier 3 employees, and there's no incentive to also stick around for that retirement package. When I can go make $3 more an hour or whatever it is, there's no incentive to look at it and go, I'm gonna make this nice retirement and be able to retire. It just isn't there. So, but we're saving because we're not putting in that cost into retirement packages for employees to stay here 20 years now and whatever. So there was savings, but it, again, you can't sell an employee in retirement. We can still sell that insurance is great, even though the cost has went up, it's still great insurance. But you used to sell insurance and retirement in the same kind of package, and you just can't do that now, because the retirement sucks.
Okay. Yes, sir.
My name's Tyler Prince. I know as far as police and firefighters go, we're making split-second decisions that can save people's lives for the same money like a Hobby Lobby. So, we got to compensate people if you want them to stay here. You want people that care about the city, right? You want people that care about other people. We've got to pay them. We can't lobby, retail, a high schooler can go do that. We are saving people's lives for $18 an hour.
I'll
Yes,
give
sir.
you one last example. I'm giving the police department test tonight. When I took the police department test back in 2002, there was 35 of us took the test. You know how many I got taking the test tonight? 5. And that's one more than I had 2 years ago.
Okay, we got one more over here.
To kind of go off a little bit of what everybody said,
Casey, give them your name.
Casey Appleman, I've been here 7 years now, working for the fire department. Just this past week, I worked 2 48-hour shifts. Now, I know none of you sitting up there have probably ever worked a 48-hour shift. If you have, correct me. But that is 48 hours twice last week that I had to be away from my kids. I didn't do it because I wanted to. Don't get me wrong, I love working for the city. I've had nothing but good experiences here. I've got 2 little girls at home and a wife. My girls are 4 years old and 2 years old, and I love them more than anything in this world. That was 2 48-hour shifts that I had to be away from. I worked 48, I was off one day, I worked another 48. Can any of you guess what I did on that one day off? I worked somewhere else. I got about 12 hours with my kids then. And I have to do that. I have to. To be able to make ends meet. My wife goes to school while working a full-time job. I have to be able to do that to make ends meet. I shouldn't have to do that. I shouldn't have to come here on my day off, away from my kids, to try to convince you guys to give us more money. None of us should. It's nuts. Everybody in this room ought to be taken care of. Thank you.
Thank you all. Matt, do you have anything else?
I don't have any, no, I have nothing else.
All right. Close.
One more, Mayor.
Okay.
Do you want to meet again prior to June 17th?
Yes.
Okay, I need to know when you want to meet. And what time? When are you leaving, Andrew?
I'll be back next Wednesday,
I will be gone. When are you leaving, Andrew?
tomorrow morning. But I don't necessarily have to be here. If you all find a good time to meet before then, that's fine with me.
Can you
I can phone it
Zoom,
in or-
Andrew? Can
I'm
you
s-
Zoom?
Probably. I'll have my
And that's fine,
computer.
yeah, we've done that before, sure, that's no
You've
problem.
done- I've done
Yeah,
it twice.
yeah, you,
What's that?
just about everybody has.
What do you want to do, Hank?
Well,
Zoom.
Zoom,
Attend via Zoom.
attend via
Oh.
Zoom.
Yeah, Andrew, yeah, we can zoom him in.
Because I feel like, Andrew, we need,
I think all 5 of you need to be involved.
when we're talking about the budget.
We would you rather do it earlier, Andrew, so you can go on with your day, or later, or?
Earlier what?
Would you rather meet earlier than, so you can, as Ann's saying, you can enjoy the rest of your day, or?
You mean earlier tomorrow?
No, I mean, we
Whenever
can't,
schedule a meeting for
Yeah.
Zoom.
if we
If
say
you-
we schedule one for Wednesday or Thursday, would you rather do it like we did at 9 in the morning?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Doesn't matter. Whatever works for everybody is what I'll make work.
You guys tell me, why, and I'll make sure it gets,
I'm open,
okay.
so I'll work around specifically his schedule and everybody else's.
How about on Friday?
Friday morning?
That'd be fine.
Do you want to go at the same time at 9 a.m.?
Ask Andrew, because we're working around what's best for him, he's on vacation.
A little bit later would probably be better for me.
Well, you tell me.
That
You guys tell me, and I'll make sure it gets set up. 11?
Yeah, let's go 11.
Got that, Lisa?
So we're talking this Friday the 7th.
This Friday, the 7th, yeah.
And Matt, just to refresh me, I'd like to know what the current salaries are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Get that to you? Not a problem.
And that
Yes,
KLC.
Yes,
report.
I'll
I'd
get
like
that,
to
I'll
have
get that in your box, I'll get that printed off, get that in your box, and
Is that with all cities?
it's broken down by former class, and then obviously it's cumulative as well. But
Yeah.
if you have questions, once you get it, just call me or text me or something.
Okay.
You guys need anything else? I'll get you those two things.
Closed session pursuant to KRS 61.8101F, discussion which might lead to the appointment of an individual employee.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cardinal?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You come first, and then I'll.
I turned those. Oh, you turned.
I just turned them on.
He's coming.
He's coming.
Yeah, he's coming. Oh, he didn't get one the other day?
Everybody got their coins, right? They've got a new
Just
meeting
kidding.
now. Everybody's.
Well, I would've, why'd you wanna see that, my shirt?
Kevin wanted to have one of these the other night, so.
That happens a lot to me.
Just lean over just a little bit further.
People ask me to do that all the time.
Okay, sorry. Running together on me.
Party down, so I was invited. She didn't go.
4449? Oh, 40.
I need a motion to,
Motion,
Brittany,
can I go back into regular session?
Yep.
yes.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cardinal?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brammer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cardinal?
See you
Oh,
guys.
yes.
Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner McKay?
Yes.
Mayor Cottrell?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you all.
It's been like 8 years to do that.